Hey Chicago, welcome to the Tycoon Show. You have just tuned in with Reverend Catherine Brown, Tycoon. And I am here today with Pastor Greer. How are you, Pastor Greer?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Absolutely wonderful. We just want to say hello to all the Chicagoans in Chicago. Hope you all are having a good evening today. We have a great topic. We're going to kind of go back to last week. Pastor Greer, we talked about clemency on last week, and I promised the people that I will bring in a criminal justice specialist.
Okay.
And so you are here today to kind of answer some questions and to kind of get a clear understanding. We had a family on last week that came in, Bernard Briscoe family, and they had filed for clemency for their family.
I see.
And they had some questions. They've been going through a battle with trying to get their father, brother / uncle, family members, trying to get him pardoned from a life plus 200 and something years on top of life for a nonviolent crime.
Okay.
So, and when we got in touch with you, we wanted to find out if you can kind of, address the situation and how can we really help the family move things right along. And for anyone that's, I see people are calling already, you have questions, let's try to put those questions around the clemency, and we're going to let you go ahead and address that as well.
So two things that we would like to say when it comes to the Briscoe case. There's two ways to approach the situation. So we want to approach it, number one, not just from the standpoint of rallying the government official, if it's the president, if it's the governor, if it's the clemency board, but you also want to work on the public opinion piece, because the public opinion piece can move the official piece. So there's always, we say in legal terms, there's always two ways to try cases: in a court of public opinion and in a court of law. Okay. So the two and two are necessarily contingent upon each other.
So what I'm hearing from you is that the more publicity it gets in the eyes of the public, exactly, the better it will help move in the government, of people rallying or things of that nature, or letting the government or president know that this is something that we from the community would like to see happen. We do have a caller. Go ahead. You all can send a call through. Caller, are you there?
Good evening. I made this point last week. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Expungement is a joke. And I tell you the reason why it's a joke. All those records at one time is open to the public. And those records have been captured by these private places where you can pay $30 and you can find all you want about somebody's background.
Wait, caller. Remember, we're not talking about expungements right now. We're talking about clemency. Give your thoughts or concerns or questions about clemency.
Well, you know what? I can even comment on that.
Okay.
The joke is this. When we had one governor that was kicked out of office, he had a whole lot of clemencies that was sitting on his desk, and he didn't sign. And we had Ryan that... we had Pat Quinn, he was in office. He didn't sign none of those either. And we got this current governor sitting in office right now. He don't give a crap.
Well, Howard Morgan was signed to be free. Remember Howard Morgan? He was brutally mistreated.
And he was just a few hours away from being executed.
Right. He had to spend 10 years in jail before he got his clemency.
Right.
And Pat Quinn did it on his way out the door.
Sitting on the governor's desk.
Yeah, for a long time.
Gorovich had been sitting in, when he was sitting in office, he didn't sign none of them.
Okay, thank you so much for your call, caller. Go ahead, Pastor Greer.
So real briefly, here's the thing. Anytime that you have to do with working with the government, it's always a slow uphill process. We want to be clear about that, and we know that from just a matter of dealing with them through our communities on issues from multiple standpoints. But what you want to be able to do is an alternative strategy, plan A, B. Yes, it is hard to deal with the government.
Well,
yes.
I want to cut you off, but it's a hard process when it comes to black people. Because if it's their people.
Well, you know what, Pastor Brown, I did not say that,
Yeah,
but I'm
but,
going to let you, and especially for minority folks, and I mean, we know that the trend is very, very hard, steep uphill battle, but, what I would suggest for people who, don't have the belief in the system, don't stop working towards your goal, but at the same time, think about an alternative life strategy. Like, here's the thing: the more independent you are, starting your own business, starting your own, then the level of support and the lifeline that you have to the government officials is minimized. So you want to be thinking in the ways of independence. The more independent you are, the more insulated you are.
But it's hard to do that when you are in a situation where so many people are being locked up that do not have that independence, that do not have those jobs. And the ones that's getting thrown all these bad cases where they have year after year to be put in jail, and some of their family lose hope and just don't push the issue because they don't know what to do. And then some of them, like the Briscoe family, they have put up forth the effort to get the signatures, to get the people to help them and everything, but it's still, like you said, a slow uphill battle. So when it comes to those type of things, we just have to, I was just kind of looking at through Facebook a little bit on my way, to the studio, and I saw Jamal Green went live, and he was talking about just how terrible it is right now, and he was just so fed up. And something that we always talk about is community unity. It's like everybody's on there talking live about how community unity, just like you was just saying, you have to have public opinion to push this issue. So it's so many people that's going through so much. It's like the people are divided trying to do so many different things. I think we need to kind of tackle a few things at a time.
Here's even with that piece, and briefly, I just want to say this. We have the luxury of something that we really haven't had in days before. Now, the Arab Spring over in I'm gonna way out for a second. The Arab Spring overseas toppled the Egyptian government. The young man who put it together, in my memory, it fails me right now. But there was a group led by one community activist, which used Facebook to topple the Egyptian government.
Oh yeah,
Facebook.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Facebook is powerful.
We have social media, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Snapchat, we have all these resources that we really never had before. Even in the '60s, the civil rights marchers, the effort to rally 100,000 people together to do the March on Washington was a Herculean task. But guess what? One individual can sit at his house now, 3 o'clock in the morning, in their pajamas, and talk to about 100,000 people.
Or more.
At so, one time. We can't supersede what technology has done for us from a community organizing standpoint.
Yeah, I get where you're going with that, is that they didn't have what we have now in order to pull people together. So it's really no excuse for us not to come together. We just need to come together.
Amen.
And it's so many different organizations, but I believe this is a season and time now that all of us are at the standpoint where we're saying, I'm sure, God gave you your thing to do. He gave me mine to do. We all got some great things, and now we need to just come together and make it one big force for the same common good.
And when you say come together, come together. But I'm going to tell you a big challenge, especially you talked about the minority community or the black community, you said specifically. A big challenge for us is logistics, organizing. We want, Tom Smith or Tyrone Smith can't be the organizer, can't be the person who talked to the media on the front of the magazine in a silk suit. We got to be able to set up a comprehensive team, be able to delegate people. One person be the media representative, one person be the public relations, one person. We really have to think about how to organize to a higher level, and that's going to help us out in the long run a lot.
So pretty much what you're saying, teamwork make the dream work. We have another caller.
Got to do it.
Caller, are you there?
Dr. D. Tycoon, I want to ask your guest, how much do you think it has something to do with money? Because people are making money off of people's misery. When you look at how much money it costs to keep somebody behind jail, opposed to educate them. And prisons, we know prison is not about rehabilitation no longer.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So if so, I'm going to answer that question. Money is always going to be a factor. I would not tell you anything false and say that economics is not a factor. But I also would be doing you an injustice if I didn't tell you that in 2008 we elected the first African American president of the United States of America, who was reelected in 2012. And not that 2008 has significance, but the 2012 was more significant because that millionaire, which he was a millionaire, Barack made his money off of his book sale, right? That's how he made a lot of his money. So individually, he is a millionaire, but that millionaire went up against billionaires in 2012. I think it's worthy of highlighting that in the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers with... in 2012, back the Republican Party, and I can tell you, they knew for a fact that they had that election won. And what happened was, David Axelrod, David Plouffe, Barack Obama's team, very good strategists, did what they did in 2012, which was rally the community. They got $5 donations, $2 donations, $10 donations, small increments, and guess what? The people won. They won over billions and billions of dollars in wealthy billionaire tycoons. So I'm saying that this paradigm can be repeated time and time again. We just got to know how to do what? We got to know how to press that motivation button, motivate people.
So I hope that, and I think another thing that this caller, that was a good point that you made to him, but I think one of the things he was saying, do you feel like in Chicago that this was making a big factor, the money, with Rom and all? Like some people, you hear them say, well, Rom probably want to leave, but he can't because he's signed too many deals with the devil. So he can't go nowhere.
Well, actually, you know what? No, yeah, he won't go anywhere, but he is a lame duck mayor. And and it is working. It is making a difference because guess what? We had a very entrenched police chief who is no longer with us, right? We had a very entrenched state's attorney who's no longer with us. So yes, it is making a difference.
What is making a difference? I missed that.
People coming together.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Rob making a difference. I was like, what city is he in?
No.
Okay, I just want to get that clear.
Hey, power to the people is a very serious concept.
Yes, it is. Well, I apologize. I thought you were saying Rom has made a big difference. So that
well, he is making a big difference because he's helping the people come together and understand that we need community unity now.
Yep, that's true.
Right?
You're right. Those are my words. Community unity now. You better know it. So, we got another caller, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a call. Caller, are you there? Go ahead.
Yes, and good evening. And to the gentleman, he just said something very pertinent to everything what it said, and that's called motivation.
Yes.
At one time, the African American neighborhood was allegedly supposed to be stronger than the Hispanics. Well, now it's been a flip. The Hispanics seem like it's stronger than the African American community. Number one of the reasons why we don't vote. We don't want to participate. Only thing we want to do is just talk, have everything given to you. The others know how to fight. They stick together. They fight. That's just like in the service, and it's 10 people all together fighting their butts off, and the other 100 is running away. You're going to be overcome by those 10. But again, we must learn to stick together. We must learn to vote. We must learn to speak for each other instead of keep on trying to tear each other down. You hear a lot of mess about money. Well, money is a good thing for us, I'm concerned. And, I don't want to be poor or broke. I like to have something. I like to have something for my family. That's what life is about. And people want to knock you because you got something. That's crazy. Only thing you have to do is try to earn it, work for it, and it will come. And everybody's not meant to be millionaires or middle class. Sure. You are what you are. You ain't going to get no better. That's just the way it goes. But you need to take what little you got and do the best you can. Listen, that's a good show, too. And let me get out there and start hear your response. And thanks for taking the call.
No problem. Thank you for calling. That was some good comments right there.
Yeah. I agree.
I think that the people now are motivated. They just don't have what you was talking about with logistics coming together and organizing, but they're ready now. They like, I'm sick of this, I'm tired. Chicago is just fed up with what's going on. Ron talk about building a new Chicago. Building a new Chicago and ain't no people in it. What's the purpose of that? You got a lot of pretty buildings, but there's nobody here to enjoy Chicago. And I do see you all calling callers. I'm gonna go ahead and take another call. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I was listening to the comments that the gentleman had made, and it caused me to think, and I've kind of changed the way I think. Just two quick comments. Number one, in terms of Barack Obama, name one thing Barack Obama has done for black people. Now, black people were the ones that put him in office, and when he had the chance to elect or to select a black Supreme Court justice, he didn't do it. He didn't select a black woman. And black women were the largest group that helped put him in office. He selected a Jewish candidate. He selected a Caucasian, a Latina woman, but he didn't select a black woman. He hasn't done anything for black people. But the thing that really kind of caused me to change my thinking, when the gentleman talked about our voting, right? Think about this. The gentleman mentioned how the state's attorney is gone and how the police superintendent is gone. Well, yeah, sure, they're gone, but look what else has gone. Black Lives Matter. During the time that we were having the uprising here in Chicago and all of the protesting and things like that, they have a selected list of people that are targeted to be removed to keep the populace down. So, yeah, Anita Alvarez is gone, and the police superintendent is gone. But so look at the fact that we have no activism at this point. So those moves were targeted to quell the people and keep us down. And my final comment is this. I don't believe here in Chicago, because think about it. There's only 6 or 7 areas where all the killing is taking place in Chicago. 6 or 7 areas. But guess what? It's been the same 6 or 7 areas for 40 years. They've had 40 years to control 6 or 7 areas. And you mean to tell me, with the military police state that we live in, they can't get control of 6 or 7 geographic areas? Of course they can.
You're right. They can't get control. They don't want to get control. Thank you so much, caller, for calling. So I appreciate that. They don't want to get control because you can.
Here's another piece to that, and you said a lot. You probably said in your commentary, you probably said about 3 or 4 different things. But we can talk about Barack Obama. We can talk about what this person isn't doing and that person isn't doing. But let's look internally in our own community, in our own block, in our own neighborhood, and let's have some self accountability too. Everything, every opportunity. Every challenge has an opportunity. It's the equal and opposite effect. And, we can spend a lot of time accessing blame, pointing fingers, but, I say let's spend that time developing concepts, developing civic organizations, talking to community organizations, and working together in order to affect, and a lot of the energy that you have, because, Carla, you had a lot of energy, and it seems like you have a lot in your spirit. I would say, if you're not organizing, I would say start organizing, and maybe you can put together your own campaigns if you haven't done so in order to affect change.
Or become a part of the campaigns that we have going now. We need people to, add to everything we got started. One of the things that we're fighting for now is CPAC. We're trying to get community control over the police. We believe that the police are not going to do what they need to do unless they are being governed by the people and, held accountable for their actions and what they do. A lot of people know that I'm a victim of police brutality, and I'm fighting even now. And just now that I'm thinking about it, you all be sure to watch tonight on CBS Channel 2. There's a part 3 to my story.
Wonderful.
The part 2 where the same officers, young men was watching TV, and they got in touch with us and let us know that, hey, I'm those young men that she staged a robbery. So, it's more and more coming out on these police officers that is doing things that is just not proper. And it's just not the police. It's the whole justice system. They doing what they want to do when they want to do it. And like Pastor Greer was saying, it's time to organize. We are starting at Kingdom Life Center. We're getting ready to do a Million Moms March. And we're calling all organizations together, every single one of them, to come together. We will have a lot more information on it for you all on next Tuesday. We'll be right back here next Tuesday at 6:30. It's serious. We're not playing no games. Remember to watch the show tonight, the newscast tonight at CBS Channel 2. Like I said, part 3 is coming out at 10 p.m. tonight. Pastor Greer, do anything else you want to say to the Briscoe family and to the people that's callers? I know you all called in and everything. We appreciate it. We only got a few more minutes left. I would like to let Pastor Greer go ahead and speak upon some things, and then I want to fill you in on a few extra things before we go.
Okay, perfect. So I want to first of all thank you for having me and this wonderful show, Reverend Brown, Dr. Brown. We have got to be able to really come together and really stop putting down groups and destination points, and really just find a way that we can develop inroads and start working together. There's several campaigns. We were out on the battle against the National Rifle Association, which is one of the most entrenched organizations in American history. And it's a very pervasive issue, but they've been a problem with our gun violence and community violence issue in a number of different ways. Pastor Brown's fight, we stood down at Chicago Police Headquarters, and it's an ongoing fight which we know through the grace of God that she will win, and we stand with her. When I say we, it's a coalition, and that coalition is still going to affect change. So please, the last thing I want to say is my Facebook is Greg, G-R-E-G-G, letter initial L, G-R-E-E-R, Greer. Reach out to me on Facebook. My email and website. My website is www.greglgreer.com. Participated in some of the most historical civil rights campaigns in America, modern today. Tamir Rice, we overturned the youngest person executed in U.S. history. We're on the forefront of Chicago violence, standing behind Reverend Brown, and we're going to implement change. But the last thing I want to say is, if we stop our motivation, if we say that we're not going to, if we have a defeatist mentality going into these campaigns and these projects, we're going to lose. So what I say is that where there's a problem or an obstacle, there's always an opportunity. So we need all hands on board. We want to stand behind Pastor Brown. I am standing with her. We're going to watch tonight in the 3-part sequence, and we're going to continue working to affect change in Chicago.
Pastor, can you tell the people the name of the organization that you're the president of?
Yeah, I am the president of the Chicago Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and my affiliation as the equal president is Freedom First International. Freedom First Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which is the organization started in 1950s by Dr. King and the legendary ministers from the SCLC.
Okay, thank you so much for everything. I just want to wrap up with saying, we are going down to the headquarters. I got a phone call from Eddie Johnson, the superintendent, and the phone call didn't go too well, y'all, but I'm going to get back in his face again on June 16, 2016 at 6:30 p.m. He going to have to give us some answers, and this time I'm coming deep with a whole bunch of folks, and they going to be, not as in folks like that, but people, and they going to be making noise because there's organizations that just don't play. So I'm inviting you to come, 3510 South Michigan, and that is June 16th at 6:30 p.m. We will rally, then we'll have our press conference. Okay, so we're looking forward to seeing you all. Come out there. Have an awesome day, Chicago. Evening, Chicago. See you next Tuesday, 6:30. Bye-bye.